Anglo American Zamani is the enterprise development program that we run within Anglo American in South Africa. The objective is to try and help unbanked entrepreneurs, principally black entrepreneurs, to have a chance to participate in our supply chain, but also to have a chance to start more businesses more generally in the economy and start to take their place in the economy of modern South Africa. Anglo American Zamali's been around since the late 1980s. Today, there are over 20,000 people working for the companies that Zamali supports, and they're working in about 1,000 companies, and they range from some quite big companies employing several hundred people down to very small businesses employing just a handful of people. Zamali started as a job creation program, actually, and what we found quite quickly was actually creating jobs isn't really sustainable, but creating profitable businesses. So we moved the program from a focus on job creation to successful entrepreneurship, and we started off by opening up opportunities in our own supply chain, and worldwide, Anglo American procures about $14 billion worth of goods and services a year. In South Africa, it's a very substantial sum as well, about $6–7 billion. So we focused on our supply chain initially and had great success in helping black entrepreneurs get into that value chain. In recent years, we've actually used the same principles but diversified into a range of other initiatives. So we have a joint venture with the South African government looking at small mining companies to help them get into the mining sector. It's quite a high risk, high capital process, but clearly with our knowledge and expertise in mining, we're able to help entrepreneurs get a leg up there. We've also developed what we call a community fund, where we took actually the Zamani model into the communities where we operate, and now we have more than 30 enterprise hubs around South Africa supporting several hundred entrepreneurs in small business development programs. And the most recent development has been the establishment of a green fund, which is trying to use that model, the venture capital model that we're running, to support investments in green technologies and in businesses that provide environmental goods and services within the country. We have three key metrics when we're looking at the success of Zamani. So the first is the number of jobs created. And although we're really trying to create successful businesses, South Africa has a very high unemployment rate. It's one of the biggest challenges facing the country. So we are looking for businesses that can create jobs. Secondly, in some of the businesses we support, we actually take an equity stake. So we'll be looking for a return on equity. And we do that not because we seek to take a profit out of Zamani. We don't. We put any profits back in. But because the profit we make on those capital investments, on those equity investments, is actually a good indication of the success of the business. And then the third one, for those businesses where we are offering loans, we look at the loan repayment rate as well. So we're trying to keep that well above 90%. And again, that's partly because we want to get our money back, of course, because then that allows us to continue to operate the program, but also because it's an indicator of the success of the businesses we're supporting. If they're successful, they'll be able to pay back their loans. We're looking for Zamani to continue to grow, and the general approach of Zamani to grow throughout the Anglo American group as well. So in South Africa, we're actually partnering with the government, and we're looking to double the number of small business development hubs that we're operating, and actually to take that expertise and take the program out into some of the non-mining communities that also would benefit from this kind of approach. So we see partnering with government as important. We also want to increase the international reach of Zamani as well, and so we have small business development programs in Chile now, and we're looking to significantly expand programs in Peru and in Brazil. And then also we're looking at some of the countries where we're now operating with De Beers in, so places like Botswana and Namibia. We're looking to expand the program there too. I guess there are two key drivers. Firstly, Anglo American itself is expanding internationally. The governments where we're operating do want to get the best development outcome from the mining sector. They've seen how successful we've been in South Africa and in Chile with small business development programs, and they're wanting us to provide those there. Secondly, we've also grown by taking control of De Beers, so that creates 2 new geographies in particular in Southern Africa and Namibia and Botswana, where again the governments are very keen to see this kind of approach to local development. So again, that's part of our program of spreading Zamani through the group. Business Call to Action does a very good job actually of marshalling all these examples of good business practice and actually incentivizing companies to come forward with either new initiatives or with new commitments around some of their initiatives, principally by scaling up. I think one of the things BCTA could do now perhaps is help some of the bilateral donors and the multilateral donors who are very interested in working with the private sector, of making them aware of the different things that very many companies are involved with now. I believe it's more than 50 businesses in a whole range of sectors, and giving them those kind of examples of success which have been beneficial to development outcomes, but also beneficial to businesses local and international, and actually educating them about the way the development community can interact with business, because I think not many people in the development sector have got a lot of business experience, which is fair enough. Not many people in the business sector have got much development experience. So I think BCTA can play a good role in facilitating that dialogue and showing what good practice is. The key challenges we're facing with Zamani at the moment are really how to scale up. And we've used different models for small business development in South Africa and in Chile for reasons that are to do with the context. So as we look towards both expanding our programs and perhaps trying to reach a bit further down the bottom of the pyramid, there may be different delivery models to those for those kind of businesses than we would need, for example, to help people in our supply chain, which we actually know a lot about, and generally those businesses will be at a certain scale. So finding the right delivery model is important, and then also thinking about what's next. So how are we going to continue to develop Zamani? So we're looking at environmental projects, for example, as an area where we can find new markets and perhaps tap carbon markets, for example, to help co-fund some of what we're doing and create opportunities there, while also contributing to things like mitigating climate change. So those are some of the challenges: the delivery models, scaling up, and then thinking about what next.